if this works, because I haven't done this for a while. I even got a microphone on to see if it helps you guys hear me. Let's see if this works, because what I'm going to do, I'm already starting. I just doing morning stuff. First, I'm cleaning water. For people who don't know, in my personal opinion, my protocols for cleaning water are really important because clean water is part of my protocol. I just filled this up with reverse osmosis water so you guys can see what I'm doing here. You can kind of barely see the machine, but this is the machine that cleans the water, but I actually put reverse osmosis water in this and then run it through the second part of what I'll be doing here. This is the water that was made last night. So I'm actually going to go ahead and harvest my water as I do. There's better units that are, I mean, not necessarily better, but like more options where it's all done automatically. I do everything manually. It's cheaper and it's smaller. And I don't really have a home where I can put all these things in at this time. So that's why I do it this way. But the good news is that the quality of the water is the same regardless. And by the way, if anybody can comment below and let me know if this microphone I'm wearing is working, if you can hear me clearly, because I don't want to try to talk super loud. I just kind of just getting up and having a peaceful morning. So I'm just going to talk just kind of normal, but this is for you guys. I'm doing this video for people who have a lot of questions. They don't understand how these things exactly work. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a tiny bit of minerals in here. These are the ones that I like from concentrates. But I'm only going to put like about 2-3 drops. Nothing crazy. Then I'm going to put it in the machine and turn it on. So that is how I make clean water in the mornings. Now, let's see if this can reach. Nope, it's not going to reach. So hopefully you guys can see. If not, again, comment below and I will do what I can so you guys can see what I'm about to do. So this, I already drank my hydrogen water. I already cleaned my mouth. That's part of my morning routine. Now I'm going to make my morning breakfast, which is all my nutrients, all my minerals. And again, let me know if you can hear me while I walk away. That's kind of the point of this microphone, so you guys can hear while I'm moving around doing things. You guys can hear what all the information I'm going to be giving you guys, which a lot of people have been requesting. So let me see. I don't even know where the comments are, to be honest. Can somebody just say, oh, there we go. Loud and clear. There it is. Okay. Thank you, GL Beans. See the little microphone. Okay, and then David Garcia says, hello, I would like to ask how you did your parasite cleanse. Okay, I know the testing here in the US is very unreliable, yes, and would like to know how you did your parasite cleanse. My anti-parasitic protocol is actually extremely involved. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. There's a couple things that I do. There's not just one thing for parasites. Before I get into, I'll talk about it as I go. I'm just going to show you some of the ingredients that I'm using for my smoothies, because these smoothies are part of my protocol. You don't have to do these, but I have different levels of my protocol. The first one is clean water, then the hydrogen, and the smoothies are next on the list because so many reasons. But the first ingredient that I use, so I literally take almost no multivitamins, and yet my blood work has been shown that I literally have almost no nutritional deficiencies. And this is actually one of the ways that I accomplish that, is Power Shake. If you guys want to know where you get this, you get it at a website called ishoppurium.com. I like it because it's high purity and because every ingredient in it is just food. And food is kind of the whole premise here, Purium, because of the purity, and it's just food. I don't like multivitamins and stuff like that because of the research that I've seen. And so this is why I use this one. Somebody just commented, hello, Ian, watching you from Uganda. I am really motivated with your work. I really need to start using your protocol, but most of the things you use are not available in my country. You know, that's one of the difficult parts is obviously things being available in other countries. So what I'm doing is I take this powder and I put it in this container. So this container's, the label's not what's in here. It's this stuff right here. So you can see when I open it, it's just food. And so what I'm trying to do, I mean, I say try, but I've already done blood work for so many years to confirm that this is working, but this was my theory behind what I'm doing. The body responds best to food, better than taking some pill for a multivitamin. So what I did is I knew that my food would be deficient. We know that soils are deficient. It's just not going to be enough. You're just not going to be able to get enough of the nutrients from just food. So what I do is I add this superfood to the normal smoothie that I'm going to be making, and it's worked literally perfectly. In fact, it was so hilarious because a doctor who wanted to know what I was doing, she thought it was a pill, but when she found out that I'm making these smoothies and I'm putting that superfood powder in there, she's like, oh, you know, she's like, a lot of my patients are not going to do that. But she was interested. She just thinks it's too much work. But, you know, if I didn't make the video, I could literally make this thing in 20 minutes. So you wake up early in 20 minutes. This is just raw turmeric or turmeric, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I like that stuff. Anti-cancerous, antiparasitic. For the person who was asking about the parasites, I don't know if my tripod, I got a kind of a crappy tripod. Hopefully you guys can see. If you can't, comment and I'll change things around. So this one is green matcha from Japan. I do not recommend the stuff from China. I've seen the lab tests. I've seen too many contaminants. You guys know today I'm not going to give you any medical advice. Everything today is just my opinion. I'm just showing you what I do, okay, guys? But this is green matcha, also highly anti-parasitic, also really, really good for your health, but also anti-cancerous. And so you're going to see a theme. You're going to see that, yes, I have anti-parasitic protocols, which are pretty involved, and there's many different ways that you can do, that I do them. But this is literally one of them. One of my anti-parasitic protocols. And by the way, I'm walking far away. Tell me if you can hear me. I'm really curious if this microphone's picking me up as I walk away, if like you're hearing me evenly no matter where I go. That really lets me know that this works, and I will try to wear it for you guys. Now I'm putting in flax seeds. They have really good fats, really good omegas, and they have really good properties to them also. You can Google them. But also, the big thing that I mean, there's so much, see, a lot of what, you're going to notice that a lot of what I do is serves multiple purposes. So that way, you don't just do like one thing for something. You do one thing that does many things. To me, that's called wisdom. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this smoothie. This smoothie is going to provide me a lot of minerals, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, and a lot of vitamins, a lot of antioxidants, lots of anti-parasitic properties, lots of anti-cancer properties, and just this one smoothie is going to do all that. And I already loaded up on the hydrogen water before all this. I didn't have the camera on, but I loaded up on my hydrogen water on an empty stomach, and this is my morning, you know, protocol. Just pretty simple, you know, nothing crazy complex, though it's hard to know what to do sometimes, right, for most people. Okay, I can hear you. So you guys do hear me quite clearly. This is good. This is new. So cool. The microphone, I guess, works, guys. All right. So the next thing, believe it or not, these are these super greens. In fact, I was just doing research on, I've been doing research on a lot of nutrients, but there's been a lot of talk about magnesium. I am absolutely not a fan of magnesium supplements. I actually think, in my opinion, that they're dangerous. There's a reason, for you guys who don't know, a lot of them are actually, certain types of magnesium is literally illegal to put in food in numerous countries, including Japan. Yet somehow they allow them in supplements. They won't allow them in your food, but they'll allow them in your supplements. You might want to think about that. And what I did, just trying to help everybody else out, because I know I don't have an issue, because again, my blood work has shown me that. That's why I do it. But one of the things that people want to know a lot of times is, how do you get enough nutrients, which is literally one of my specialties. And one of those was magnesium. And I looked up magnesium-rich foods. almost every single thing that I put in my smoothie and every single thing that I eat, virtually every single day is like on the top of that list. So that was kind of funny, really. Basically, I'm already doing it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Already doing it. But for you out there who are trying to improve on that, that's why I'm trying to show you guys. By the way, is the angle okay for you guys? I'm gonna wash these. A lot of good stuff in the plants. Let's see here. And if you have questions, this is your chance to ask questions. The antiparasitic protocol involves a lot of things for David, who was asking, because the thing about parasites is that there's many different types. And because there's many different types of parasites, you don't just do one thing to kill them all or to lower their numbers, dramatically. That's just not how it works. You kind of go about taking care of them, or quote unquote even eradicating them in different ways. For example, like here's a funny one for you guys. I get a lot of flack from different people about the diet thing. That's why I don't even like to talk about diet, because I know that what I've been doing is working. So that's why it works. There's a lot of science to back it up, but then you can find science that contradicts stuff, so that can be frustrating. But the thing is that people complain or talk about oxalates. You're going to be a little surprised to find out, first of all, your body can deal with them. If you drink enough water, if you get enough calcium, the hydrogen appears to help. I don't really worry about it. Never had issues with it. I've been doing this for a long time. But also, I'm finding scientific evidence that shows that oxalates appear to be good for reducing parasites. So they seem to have these antiparasitic properties. So that's kind of interesting. You seem to have a lot better luck with eliminating parasites with a diet that's rich in fruits and vegetables. If you do research, you're going to find out, and it's really kind of shocking actually, how antiparasitic most fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds are. It's truly shocking. So you can do some of that research, but you're going to find out, and I've done other videos on it, but you can look it up. How many of these ingredients that are going to go into this smoothie are antiparasitic? Like I said, this does a lot of things. Gotta get all this water off of these guys. So nothing exciting. It's just a live video to answer your questions and for people who are curious about how I do my routines in order to maximize health, anti-aging, lower inflammation, lower your risk of parasites, cancer, multiple different medical conditions. You'd be surprised. In fact, there's some new research coming out, but see, I already knew. I didn't even need the data, but now the data is coming out about how there appears to be very positive things for things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, in regards to properties that come from plants. I mean, for people who don't know, most medicines come from plants. So that may be a shocker to you, but plants are amazing. The sun hits them, the way they utilize the soil. They're really, to me, they're magical. I'm grateful for them. I use them, obviously. You got to know how to use them. And yeah. So that whole antiparasitic thing, let's see, to answer that guy's question. I can't go into detail because every single person's protocol would be a little different. But what I will tell you is I use a combination of things. I use a combination of diatomaceous earth, food grade. I use one of them, which I'm not going to say the name just because it's so weird that it's controversial, but I'm sure you guys know it starts with an I and probably rhymes with isorectin, something like that, but I won't say the word. And then I use another combination of Fenben. I'll call it Fenben, but that's short for the whole word. I'm sure you guys will know what I'm talking about. And then I do the anti-parasitic diet. So those are the big three that I use. Are there other ones? Yeah, there's other ones. You know what? I'm gonna put this on. Like you can, I mean, black seed oil seems to have certain anti-parasitic properties. But those are my big ones. My big ones are, in fact, I have some right here actually. Diatomaceous earth. So that's one of them. And this one, I'm not recommending it. I'll just show you the word. Fenben. It's fenbendazole. I'm sure it's fine. That's not the one that I typically use. I usually get it in a paste because it's, well, because it's cheaper. But you'll be surprised that depending on how long you do certain protocols, the hydrogen also, this was kind of shocking, I think, well, it was for me. Blueberry is obviously really good for your vascular system. Again, anti-cancerous, anti-angiogenic food. And they're just really good for you. Berries are just super good for you if you can get your hand on organic blueberries. Of course, I try to do as much organic as possible. Is that a guarantee that it's super, super clean? No, but we do the best we can. Walnuts. Really good, again, source of fats, proteins, unique type of fiber. I like my fiber from my food. I do not like fiber supplements. You guys are going to notice a pattern here. I'm not a big fan of supplements. And most of the supplements that I do are just food. Just like that powder is just food. It's nothing particularly special. I mean, it's special because it's clean food, but that's it. In fact, if you guys end up wanting, I guess you can email me directly. If you want to use that on the regular, there's a way to sign up for a monthly thing, which is what I do, because I literally go through exactly the monthly amount in 1 month, and I have it on auto ship, and then they give you discounts. Okay, next. So that's kind of, I don't know if that kind of gave you a little information on the anti-parasitic protocol. I do have another protocol. This one I didn't create. This one's wild, but it's so expensive, super difficult, very time consuming. I don't even think you could do it by yourself. You would literally need somebody to help you. So I'm putting chia seeds in here. Lots of minerals again. Really good, well-balanced omegas, which are proteins. And so that's what I'm putting in there. So another pattern you're going to see that I do, these are all part of my protocols too, is things rich in water. So the chia seeds are dry, so I soak them in water to make sure to bring water into my system rather than water being pulled out of my system. And that's just how I choose to do it. Okay. I'm just checking, make sure you guys, if you have any questions, but I think that's most of them. It looks like. I know I didn't give a ton of clarity on the anti-parasitic protocol, because what happens so parasites have certain cycles. I learned this by doing a lot of research. In fact, I was a little surprised that Japan apparently has a massive amount of research on parasites. In fact, they have a whole museum and done massive amounts of research. And I learned a lot by reading their data and learning about the cycles and how the parasites work in order to create the protocols that I created. Because I didn't just guess. I really created kind of a full spectrum thing. But I think a lot of it is, if your body, parasites tend to go after certain things. Like, for example, they seem to be attracted to heavy metals. So that's why I don't like to use, certain hydrogen products. That's also why I don't like a lot of supplements, because if you do a lot of lab tests, you're just going to see stuff that you're not going to want to see. And it gets, I don't think people really understand that the keys to good health sometimes can be much simpler than what you'd expect. Sometimes less is more. And right now I'm putting some ginger. So obviously, if you guys want to Google this or watch my other video where I go on the benefits of all these things, but obviously ginger has a lot of health benefits. also certain antiparasitic properties. That was one of the things that kind of was really interesting to me. When I started researching all these foods, I wasn't using them for the antiparasitic properties. I was just trying to get like minerals, nutrients, anti-cancerous properties, the fiber. Fiber, there's going to be a lot of controversy about fiber, but I'll tell you, there shouldn't be, because there's some very, very clear evidence coming out of Japan. It's extremely important for you. In fact, it's one of the secrets that I have, because using hydrogen the way that I do and combining it with the fiber, it actually has been helping with basically what I would call nutrient absorption and lowering the parasite numbers, which helps with nutrient absorption. And the reason this is important, guys, for the very few that are in here and want to learn about this, is that nutritional deficiencies are extremely common. In fact, almost everybody, just so you know, almost every single person walking around has a nutritional deficiency of some sort. And the problem with nutritional deficiencies is that we know that they cause disease. So they cause a lot of problems. It says, have you ever tried sea moss gel? No, and I hate to say it, I'm just not really interested. I think that there's a lot of things. There's always going to be a new fad. So that's one thing you're going to start noticing. And these new fads are not always there to really, truly help you. They're there because people have discovered that this is a way to make money. So if I was just interested in making money and I didn't want to actually help people, then yeah, I would probably come up with the next gimmick every so many months or every year, you know, whether it was the celery fad for a while, the copper fad, you know, the sea moss fad. And I'm not saying that these things don't necessarily have benefits, but if I'm able to overcome the craziest of medical conditions without using it, then why do I need it? And the scary part, I'm going to share something really creepy with you guys, and I'm not going to name names so these guys won't get upset, because I've had multiple people contact me throughout the years, by the way, where what they do is they wanted me to, they're trying to recruit me basically to create like a supplement company or something, and they wanted me to, I guess, you know, be a part of it all or whatever. But what I learned, because as you can see, I turned them down. I'm not going to do it, because I learned some dirty little secrets about the supplement industry. That's why I'm not going to name names, because otherwise that's apparently where they, yeah, bad things can happen or whatever. But anyway, the thing is that these supplement companies can make probably a very high-end supplement, but they won't. And the reason that they won't, I found out from talking to different people who were trying to recruit me and me asking a million questions, is that it would be too expensive for them to make the supplement properly, which means that they really wouldn't make as much profit. And also they said, and once the price of the product goes too high, then people don't buy it. And so they didn't care about the quality. They cared about the profit. And that's not the way that I work. I want everything for me. That's why I like the Japanese so much, because they're so crazy into the quality. That's why that Purium powder I'm using, is it cheap? No, because they try to use really, really like the best ingredients. They lab test. You know, it's really crazy. I even got a letter from them one time that showed that they found some contaminant in one of the ingredients. So they took it off the shelf. They're picky. And that's the kind of companies that I like. But is it going to cost you more? Yes. But is getting sick expensive? Let me tell you, getting sick is so crazy expensive. And then the people who could potentially help you, typically, you know, like the doctors and stuff, I don't really like the way they go about trying to help, right? They don't try to get to the root problem. It's always a Band-Aid, you know, typically, not always, but typically a Band-Aid. And so, yeah, so I didn't like the way that these companies were going to function. I'm like, I don't want to be any part of that. And I found out about, I saw a lot of different lab reports and just contamination, lots of contamination in supplements. And, you know, there's a lot of contamination in a lot of things. So that's why you want to do things as clean as possible, because somebody might tell you, oh, there's safe levels of this, that, or the other in your water. There's safe levels of, you know, pesticides in your food. The problem is that you eat one thing that they say are safe levels, then you drink something else and that's safe levels, then you take a supplement and that has supposedly safe levels. But after all this stuff builds up in your body, it's not safe levels anymore. And that's one of the biggest problems that I don't see almost anybody talking about And it really puts a strain on the body. It really keeps the body from being able to, in my opinion, either repair or stay in a healthy place. And so there's just a lot of little factors, and it can get, and you can totally overcomplicate it. You could talk, I mean, I've seen these podcasts, they just totally overcomplicate things. Look at what I'm doing. Is this complicated? I mean, I showed you how to clean my water at the beginning. It's not complicated. In fact, for those of you interested to see what I use, the equipment's at a website called mypurewater.com. If you want a coupon for a discount, it helps, is the code uprising 144K. And that's it. That's just to clean your water. That's pretty easy. And then, of course, organic produce as much as possible, not because it won't have anything in it as far as pesticides, but the amount should technically be lower. I've seen a lot of the lab tests too. But you know, the part that's more interesting is when they measure the level of nutrients and antioxidants in organic food, they're much higher than normal food. So that was a huge finding that kind of shocked a lot of people who didn't believe in it, including a lot of doctors and stuff. That's kind of how I was able to see their lab reports. It was really quite interesting because I honestly, I would have never guessed that. Let's see if I'm answering everybody else's questions. So yeah, so I'm not really into sea moss gel. I've heard of it, but I'm not really interested. In fact, what I'm really interested in, I'll tell you what I'm really interested in. I mean, he's like, okay, what are you interested for health? Guys, it's not complicated. First, you have to overcome nutritional deficiencies and stay hydrated. And then hydrogen is just like the magic. I mean, hydrogen's the magic thing. It makes everything work better. It's kind of like, I don't know, it just works it makes everything work better. Kind of like fluids in your car. And so you want to overcome all deficiencies. And so that's minerals, nutrients. That's the thing that when I got my blood work regularly, that's the thing that shocked my doctor. She's like, how is this possible? How are you doing this? Like I've told this story before, but for people who haven't heard it, you know, we're talking about a doctor who specializes in blood. She's been doing it for over 30 years. And what was weird is that she said not one time, can you imagine that, guys? Not one time. Let's see here. I thought I saw a question pop up. Not one time did she ever see blood like mine, she said. That's crazy to me. Not once. Am I really, now granted, there's got to be people out there, you know, but they got to be a rarity because the numbers, I mean, I could give you guys all sorts of numbers, but when you have deficiencies, I don't know if people really understand what happens to the body when you're deficient, but it's kind of like being in your house and you need something, like you need a paper clip and you don't have one, or you need a toilet plunger and you don't have one, and all of a sudden the toilet overflows, or you need, you know, gasoline for your heater or wood for your wood stove and you don't have it, and then all of a sudden the house gets cold, and then that causes, you know, maybe moisture to build up in the house, and that's not good for it, or whatever. There's almost like a chain of events that happens. They call it the matrix of the human body, and I'll tell you right now, it's so complex that nobody really knows. So there is no doctor, there is no supposed specialist. People always, they like to talk like they know everything when it comes to health, but I accept the fact that I don't know everything, and that the human body just has quote unquote certain properties. And by the way, normally I put raw cacao. I should probably show you guys that. It's just that I've been consuming it a little different lately. So I only put it in the smoothie once in a while, but it's really good for activating stem cells in the body. And if you want to see what I was using, I just organic raw cacao. And when you look at ingredients for the things that I like to do, you're going to notice that they're just simple ingredients. The ingredient just says organic cacao. That's it. And it's also antiparasitic. Marilyn says, when you first started, did you go really slow? I find it makes my inflammation worse. What makes your inflammation worse? There's a lot of different things. I don't know which specific thing you're talking about, but you might want to clarify with more detail. But you do have to remember, I've been doing this for quite a while. The gut is one of the biggest problems I've noticed with people's health. So many people have gut issues, and the reason is all the stuff that's in our food. You know, the way they grow the grains. Like you'll see, I almost never eat oatmeal. I mean, I may have oatmeal once in a while, but I almost never eat it. And I don't eat bread almost ever. I might make an exception here or there, but there's certain foods that I just avoid in America and just don't eat them. And those are just some of them. because of the way that they affect the gut. I tend to try to avoid dairy for the most part. Um, Again, it's the quality of certain foods in America. They've really, I hate to say it, they've poisoned us, or they're poisoning us. But so there's just certain things that I avoid. And so the gut, it gets used to these terrible foods, and it imbalances your gut bacteria and your microbiome. And it becomes a problem because then you will literally have a hard time digesting good food sometimes, and it takes a while for the body to get acclimated, and sometimes there's certain things that medical procedures which shall remain nameless. I'll just say sometimes little potential treatments or whatever that they give you a lot of times when you're a kid, or even as adults, obviously during the flu season or whatever, and these things can create certain allergies. So some people do have allergic reactions, like peanut reaction, for example. So this is another little trick that I do. I was telling you guys how important hydration and water is in your food. So these walnuts are dry, right? And if you notice, when I brought out my walnuts, you'll notice that they were in water. And so one of the things I'm gonna do, sometimes I put them in hydrogen water. I'm not gonna put them in hydrogen water today. I'm just gonna put a little reverse osmosis because I'm going to dump the water. This is just for them to soak up the water. So I soak them in clean water. I can do hydrogen water, I can do distilled water, I can do hydrogen distilled water, or in this case, I'm just going to do reverse osmosis for today. And I'm going to put them in the fridge. And this is for tomorrow. So the ones that I grabbed were ones that I did yesterday. Okay, so now that this is all ready to go, you don't have to do this part of the protocol. But if I was alone, I would do it a little differently. But since you guys are here, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I'm just inhaling for now, drinking the hydrogen water. I have very dysbiotic gut. Oh, yeah. One thing you can do is, well, first, what equipment are you using? Just in case. I assume I know which one. But so here I'm putting the hydrogen water. Why am I doing the hydrogen water? Well, I got the idea because I saw this research in Japan where they were literally testing certain properties of fruit or vegetables before hydrogen, and then they would soak them in hydrogen like this for like 20 minutes and measure the fruit again. It was unbelievable. I literally couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I'm like, this can't be real. And then of course I did more research, and it definitely looks legit. In fact, things you can do with hydrogen, things that I haven't even divulged yet, but I'm going to divulge some in the future because I've been able to be in contact with like cutting edge scientists in Japan. I got really lucky, and they're doing things that nobody knows about. So there's nobody in America, nobody knows this information because it's all like cutting edge. It hasn't even been published yet. So I'm going to show some stuff to you guys in the near future, but I was asked not to say anything at this time, so I'm not going to. I'm going to honor that. And by the way, I'm putting minerals in here. So here's another crazy one, guys. I've been doing this for years, and it turned out I was right. And I say that because they did a scientific study on it, and I couldn't believe it. I added minerals to my smoothie because remember, this is supposed to be for everything. This is supposed to be minerals, nutrients, everything else. And I added minerals because I just assumed that the soils are depleted of minerals. So I thought I'd throw some in here. Well, it turns out that they work synergistically with the fiber. Remember, that's another thing I'm trying to tell you guys. Everything works synergistically. And you'll never understand it. Nobody does. It's too complicated. But if you just give it what it needs, like you don't need to know how a car works. You just put the proper gasoline in it. You didn't create the car. If it takes premium, you put premium. You don't even need to understand why. Same thing goes for the type of oil you use in the car, whatever. And so I started putting the minerals in there, and it turns out that the minerals with the fiber in the study, what they found is that people's bones were rebuilding. It was totally nuts. In my opinion, it's going to do a lot more than that, but yeah, you can try. You are using the Hydrofix. Okay. The other thing is I would watch video 426, just in case you're making sure to stay on top of the maintenance. You don't want it to get dirty. When they get dirty and they build up crap, which happens with all hydrogen machines, the good thing about the Hydrofix versus other machines is that everything's exposed, so you can clean it. There's a lot of machines that are sealed. Bad idea, in my opinion. Bad idea. From everything that I've learned, there's so many sealed units and they build up stuff in there, and you don't want to inhale that or whatever, in my opinion. So But yeah, you can start slow. Sometimes it takes time, you know, before the body, quote unquote, kind of adapts. Because yeah, it could have a little bit of a reaction if your body's not used to it. Yeah, that could happen. Just like if you take, well, there's certain things, including antiparasitic. Sometimes certain antiparasitic protocols, you have to go kind of slow. Can I ask what minerals you used? Yeah, I said it early in the video, but here's again, concentrates minerals. If you want to find a link to it, there's a video I made with both boron. Oh, actually, no. For this video, you type in how to mineralize or remineralize distilled water, and mine's going to be one of the top ones, and I have a link for it if you want to use a link. And yeah, these are all extracted from the ocean. They go through a purification process, and then they eliminate almost all the salt. I know there's a lot of controversy about salt, but I'm going to tell you right now, the data, I've read so much data on salt out of Japan, and it clearly increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, hardening of arteries. It's not really good for you. You don't actually want the salt that much. You want the minerals that are within salt, like the Himalayan salt, the Celtic sea salt, stuff like that. So this process, they eliminate almost all the salt, but keep the rich minerals. It's super awesome. It makes all the sense in the world. That's what I do, and it clearly has been working. And then you'll notice, as I said, I don't use almost any supplement. This is the only nutrient that I have to get a supplement, and it will not be a pill. And that's vitamin D3. But I like it with K2, as everybody knows, but I also like it in its ionic form. And research has now come out showing that this is the best, even though this company was doing it way before anybody else, because they understood the matrix of the body's going to need certain things, and it works so beautifully and really clean, and it's just liquid. I like liquids more than pills because pills tend to have other binders and things in there that I'm just not a fan of. So there we go. So I'm letting this soak a little bit. I'm going to put a tiny bit more water in there. So those are the minerals that I use. And then of course, this picture, this smoothie is full of minerals anyway. Like I said, there's still minerals in the food. But the way that they all work synergistically, I believe that there's a reason that God put in fiber, antioxidants, minerals, proteins, you know, the omegas. I mean, there's the phytonutrients. All these things work together. That's why you'll find them all in one food, you know, like a carrot, celery, you know, different things. That's why I'm big on fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, mushrooms, you know, that kind of stuff. And with the things, I can't talk about it either probably without them taking down the video, but there's also, they're starting to put things in certain food. They're sticking little needles in the animals, and they're doing it to chickens, they're doing it to cows, it's going to affect your milk, it's going to affect your eggs, it's going to affect a lot of foods that I'm going to have to basically avoid. But I've been really good at it and still been able to learn how to get my nutrients, so it's not a huge deal. Okay, but it is kind of a big deal because it'd be nice to have certain food really clean. Now, one of the other things that I do, really good for nutrients, this is one of my favorites because it's so powerful, also anti-parasitic, but the nutrients. So I'm going to blend this thing up. I'm just letting it soak in the hydrogen a little bit, but I'm going to blend this thing up. It says happy solstice from the Shetland Islands. All right. I'm sealing it. Are you still in Asia? Yeah, I'm in Asia right now with all this American food. I don't know why everybody's so interested about that. But no, not right this moment. Though I am going to be heading back. This is just, I'm just back temporarily. Hemp hearts. If you look at the ingredients, obviously it literally just says organic hemp seed. That's it. But if you look at the nutrients and the minerals, guys, it's unbelievable. It literally looks like a multivitamin all on its own. And I put this on my smoothies. And it is also obviously a really good source of protein. Everybody kind of hyper focuses on protein, though you should see some of the latest data, by the way. It appears that protein actually increases risk of cancer and death if you get too much of it. Some people get so obsessed with overloading on protein, and I've been saying for a long time. So I've just been showing, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn, but it just shows that I've been right all along, because it's so obvious that what you're looking for is not just protein. You're looking for every mineral, every nutrient. Like people who got obsessed with the copper thing, for example, look at this. Where is it? Copper, right here, 45%, like tons of copper. But when it comes from your food, it's different. I can't emphasize that enough. nature does things that just humans just can't at this time. So, all right, guys, I'm going to blend this, and it's going to get a little loud. So give me a second. Now, the cool thing, I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but the cool thing about this new blender, it doesn't shake all over the place and fall off the counter or whatever. So that's kind of cool. All right, it's almost done. And then I'm going to turn off the camera, so any last questions, let me know, because I'm almost done here. I'm going to show you how I finish this up. All right, and I was telling you guys about my vitamin D and why it's the only thing that I have to get a supplement for, because obviously when I did my blood work, I was doing it for years. So I was doing it every so many months, particularly every 6 months, to make sure that my protocols were working. The only one that I was having issues with at the time was, oh, this didn't blend up, it looks like, was vitamin D. And that's because it's extremely hard. And, you know, technically, vitamin D is technically a hormone, but vitamin D, you're not going to get enough of it from your food. It's just not going to happen. Hold on one second. So you're just not going to get enough vitamin D from your food. And I've seen that. So it's the one thing that I have to supplement. Why? Because vitamin D is extremely important, guys. So many incredible data and benefits to vitamin D. I have to make sure that I have enough of it. So I tried to find the best source. I really like the oil they use, and which is coconut. And just got to get a really good source of vitamin D. Now, I believe so much in natural things. So that means really basic too. Clean water, natural. Hydrogen, natural. As long as there's no byproducts. The biggest issue with making hydrogen incorrectly. However, I like it all in my food because the body recognizes. So I take the vitamin D and I put between 5 and 10,000 IUs, which one drop is 1,000 IUs. I'm just going to put 6 today. My levels are really, really good, so I don't need a ton of it. And then I finish pouring in the rest of the smoothie. And so basically this smoothie is officially my multivitamin. This thing will give me all my minerals, all my nutrients, good fiber, which is going to help me absorb the nutrients better and regulate blood glucose all day long. There's really good data about that came out of Japan too. And then what I do is I take the hemp parts, and all these things have, again, the antiparasitic properties, and I do it on the regular. Eliminating is really good too. And these protocols have absolutely changed my, I don't like to talk, I mean, it's probably not fun for people to talk about, but my bowel movements, and perfect. I mean, perfect for years. I love it. It's so comfortable, and I don't have to deal with all the crap I used to have to deal with before. No pun intended. And then I like to put the hemp parts on the top. These ones I will not soak in water. You could. The only reason that I don't is because I got so much water that I already took in with the hydrogen water before this, and now this has a lot of water content. And I just like the way these taste kind of crunchy, and if I soak them in water, it's going to take away from that. And that's it, guys. So hopefully that kind of helped you guys. That's how I do my morning routine. So I'm going to sit down and drink this. I can maybe answer a few questions, but for the most part, probably going to let you go here in a second. Let's see if anybody else had any questions. Doesn't look like it. So, okay, guys. I'm going to let you go. Maybe I'll give you a few more seconds if anybody has any final thoughts, because I get a million questions, and somehow when I do the videos, people don't seem to have them. And then the moment I stop making the videos, I get a ton of questions. And so this is your time for free to ask any questions you want. Cheers, H-Man, says Lynette. Thank you, thank you. How'd you guys like the microphone? Did it really work? Oh no, I wasn't the one on your end, but hopefully it did. Okay, let's see here. I got the computer right here too. If you guys, for some crazy reason, are like, hey, I want to know more about the spinach, or I want to know more about whatever, you know, I can pull it up on the computer if you really want, but you could always do that on your own too. And see, I'm rubbing my carbon distiller right there. One drop at a time, but that's how you clean water, guys. I don't have the lab reports right here, but if you guys really wanted to see them, watch video 388 for that. Okay, well, GL Bean says yes. Yes to what? Nicole says bye, have a blessed weekend. Thanks for all the info. Hope it was helpful. Oh, you want to know the properties? So like here, I'll give you an example. Okay, guys, I know everybody talks about, let's see. So let's go with, let's see, just because, I don't know, there's a lot of talk about a lot of things, but people go on and on about magnesium. So foods high in magnesium. So I'm gonna go off a list here just so you guys kind of get an idea. Avocados. I put those in my salad almost every day. When I can afford it, I even put them in my smoothies often. Dark chocolate. Where did you get the stand for the mini distiller? It's not mine. I think I got it from the Goodwill or something. Somebody gave it to me. Most of the stuff I get is given to me. People are going to throw it out. I live like really, really, really simple, inexpensive lifestyle. Your microphone's clear. Awesome. That's very helpful. Dark chocolate is another good source of magnesium. I put that in my smoothie almost every day too. But I've been eating some new hot cocoa. It's like hot chocolate that you make hot chocolate with. Really good, high quality stuff that I've been consuming. Bananas apparently are rich in magnesium. Beans, so specifically edamame, which is basically soybean. So I eat natto, I eat tofu, edamame, rich in magnesium. Nuts in general, so like the walnuts, you saw those go in the smoothies. Pumpkin seeds. I have a really good access to sprouted pumpkin seeds that go in my salads almost every day. I mean, you can see already why I don't have deficiencies. Just going off this list, I consume this food almost like every day. Black beans. I eat a lot of beans. Sometimes they're black beans. Spinach is one of the top on the list for magnesium. And we're just talking magnesium. You should see all the other properties of this. Leafy greens are also, and I put that into smoothie always. Chia seeds are at the top of the list. Look at all this food, crazy, right? This is why other diets, in my opinion, just won't work. When people want to just eat nothing but one food, like I will only eat, meat, or I will only eat fruit, well-balanced diet. And I go off a lot of what the Japanese do because they live so long, but also their data, because it's really good. They do a lot of good research. And it's always about balanced diet. In fact, the Japanese eat with the seasons, and there's a really interesting book. I don't have it here. I almost brought it with me, but a book where it has supposedly stories about Jesus, which is really weird, where he talks to people about how to heal and even tells them what to eat. I know it's crazy. It came from the Dead Sea Scrolls, apparently. Never went in the Bible, but he talked a lot about foods and eating with the seasons. In fact, everything that he talked about was very similar to Japan. Okay, one of the questions is, have you tried the Power Shake apple berry flavor? Yeah, that's the one that I get. I prefer the apple berry flavor. Isn't that the one that, pretty sure that's what I have. I guess I'll go grab it. Hold on. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay. Apple berry, and that's the one that I like. The other one doesn't have as much flavor, but It's fine. Other foods high in magnesium. And by the way, we could look up foods that are antiparasitic. Whatever you guys want me to look up right now, I can read some of this stuff off to you. But rice, potatoes, wow, a lot of seeds, almonds, peanut butter, cashews, tofu. There you go. Salmon finally made it on the list. It's not top of the list. Actually, it's more towards the bottom, but it's on there. Beans, I'm telling you, there's a pattern here. A lot of beans, a lot of seeds, a lot of vegetables, a lot of nuts. I mean, very little fruit. Only the banana is on there. So yeah, again, that's just one thing. I could look up highly antiparasitic foods. So we could look up that. Thank you. And then of course it says certain foods and natural ingredients have been traditionally used for their antiparasitic properties. Top one, garlic. Love garlic. Oh, love garlic in so many ways. I don't know if you guys have seen the fermented garlic. Oh, love it. Coconut. Coconut appears to be antiparasitic. I didn't actually know that. And I use coconut in a lot of different ways. Like I said, it's in actually my vitamin D. Pumpkin seeds, highly, highly antiparasitic. And I put those in my salad almost every single day. And as we just found out, they're also rich in magnesium. So see how these one food can do so many things? That's the key, guys, in my opinion, to be able to have good health rather than a cupboard full of supplements. And then you go and test them all and you're going to find probably some not so great things. That's just my opinion, all right? You do whatever you want. Papaya. So we know papaya is highly antiparasitic. I've known about that. Oh, probiotics appear to be antiparasitic. I know the Japanese have some of the best in the world, actually. Wormwood, neem. Oh, guys, if you've never heard of neem, that one's really interesting. Onions. Neem, you can literally buy just the powder. It's just neem. You can mix it with water. I've known about it being highly antiparasitic. I used to use it quite regularly. It's got all sorts of other benefits too. I can't remember them off the top of my head right now. Just herbs, carrots. Look at that. Carrots is almost at the top of the list. And those definitely go in my smoothie almost every single day. And you can get a big bag of organic carrots pretty reasonably. Turmeric, highly antiparasitic. You saw me put that in the smoothie too. See what I mean? Like all this. Oh, cucumbers. I didn't know cucumbers were pineapple. Oh, propolis. I like propolis. Oregano. So just some of these things, let's see, 5 scientifically proven foods that kill parasites. Yeah, I think we already went. The funny thing is they also seem to have a positive effect on losing weight. That's another thing, these protocols that I've been doing, I never have to. That's the funny thing. I'll tell you guys right now. When I focus more on health and getting every nutrient that I needed in my body, you just get lean and you lose weight and you don't even have to try. You just have to try to be healthy and everything else just comes along, By the way, that person with the intestinal reaction, that could also be some parasite stuff potentially going on. I was just trying to see what these scientifically proven. Now, here's another interesting thing. Instead of testing, I've been telling this to a lot of people, don't try to do testing for parasites because a lot of times they'll just tell you it comes out negative when we know that almost everybody has parasites. It's kind of like cancer. You need so many cells in order for them to know with their current testing methods, but there's other methods where you can test for cancer that work way better, way cheaper. There's some new stuff in Japan that almost nobody knows about. So instead of looking specifically for parasites, they're actually looking for certain biomarkers to try to find them, which apparently these can affect things like white blood cells. So they will literally can find white blood cells in your stool. That's one of the biomarkers. And obviously that can indicate, just so you guys know, certain issues with immune responses. So for me, one of the issues that I had was an autoimmune issue supposedly. And of course they didn't know what was causing it. A lot of times they tell you, oh, it's genetic. just want to slap someone when I hear something stupid like that, because I totally fixed it. And a lot of it was the repair of my gut. And I also think these anti-parasitic protocols that I have, and it went away, and they couldn't fix it. They just wanted to throw pills at me and God knows what. Another thing is when you have parasitic infections that you don't even know about, they cause inflammatory responses that they might even just tell you as a disease. So, oh, you just have this disease, you just have that disease. So they look for those specific inflammatory markers, which I also had done when I did all my blood work. And I showed no inflammatory markers, along with no nutritional deficiencies. Along with, this is one of the reasons that the doctor was like, I've never seen blood work like yours. Like, it's crazy. She thought I was taking a magic pill. When I told her clean water and hydrogen and then some smoothies, of course, her response was, what's hydrogen water? She didn't understand it. Okay, let's see, monitoring these markers, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's another one. See, I've been trying to tell you guys. In some cases, they actually test for specific nutrient deficiencies. I'm telling you right now, certain nutritional deficiencies, in my opinion, maybe I could probably find scientific data to back this up. In my opinion, deficiencies can lead to more parasites. You need to have all the tools in this body for it to do what it's going to magically do on its own. You don't even need to know how it works. You just need to make sure you're getting those nutrients. And so one of the markers that they look for are specific ones. They said that parasites disrupt or can disrupt nutrient absorption. I already know this. This is one of the reasons that I focus so much on overcoming parasitic infection, so that I could get proper nutrient absorption. With even hydrogen will helps even more. That's why I'm doing things that even the medical establishment thinks technically should be impossible. That's literally what the doctor told me. She goes, this is impossible, especially when she found out how I eat, because there's certain foods that I don't eat. And she's like, that's just not possible. She goes, but I'm looking at your blood work. And I'm like, it ain't complicated, guys. The medical establishment has spent billions, if not into the trillions. And I figured this out? Come on, guys. Is it that complicated, or am I like some super genius with smoothies and hydrogen water? Come on. I mean, I just feel like it just gets ridiculous at some point. It took a little creative thinking on my part to create the easiest, simplest, affordable protocols that you can do at home. Okay. So some of the nutrient absorption can lead to obviously deficiencies in vitamins, but minerals too. That's another one. You'd be shocked to know that there's data, there's evidence on this, that specific nutrient or mineral, not even just nutrient, mineral deficiencies can cause more issues with being able to control the amount of parasites in your body. You overcome this deficiency, parasites are more under control. And one of those is calcium, even oxalates. So a lot of the stuff that they tell you is bad for you from vegetables appears to have really good properties to it. So the whole thing, like I said, you need to understand the matrix of the body. It's a little complex. But they've also seen deficiencies in iron, B12, and zinc. Those are some pretty big ones when it comes to people who have parasite problems. And then like, you got to figure that out and kind of address it by the way that you're living, the foods that you're eating, all this stuff. The other one is actually liver function. So they actually test for certain type of liver enzymes, like the levels of them. That can be important. I'm actually delete this video today, maybe, just so you know. You guys are all live, but I might take this video down when I'm done. So it's just for the live people. Let's see here. Also, the way that the liver works affects other organs. So this is what I mean about the matrix. You need things working properly because they affect other things in ways that we still don't know. In fact, we continue to learn that I always find new data coming out of Japan. I mean, I'll read any data. It's just that most of the good this type of stuff is just, it always comes out of Japan for some reason. I'm gonna get some more smoothie here, but yeah, I don't know why. I love that the Japanese do this research, but there's a lot of other places that don't seem to be interested in it. The Japanese do a lot of research on food. In fact, they have like a ton of research on natto. That's why they're the ones who discovered not only the positive effects of natto, but even the enzyme within natto. And I don't think people really, I don't think they comprehend sometimes the power of food. I've been able to accomplish almost everything that I've been able to accomplish with just natural stuff. So, I don't know. Okay. If this has been helpful, let me know or comment or give a thumbs up or something. Otherwise, I'll just stop the video. I don't need to be boring everybody with this. But the other interesting thing is there's certain foods that help you, yes, fight off the parasites, but also kill them naturally. And I'll give you the top 5 proven scientifically. And we already talked about some of these. 1, garlic. 2, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds is a big one because I could technically add it to my smoothies, but I eat so much of it already in my salads. Papaya, pomegranate, and you know what? I do love pomegranate. And this one I've never heard of, barberry. Never heard of it. Maybe I've eaten it, but not on the regular, but it is a berry. So you technically have a berry, pomegranate, I guess, considered a fruit, papaya is a fruit, a seed, the pumpkin seed, and then garlic. I don't know if garlic's considered I don't know what it's considered. I love it. So yeah, so there we go. It also has, there's ancient usage for the garlic in regards to, you can actually use it as a natural antibiotic. A lot of really good properties to that. So anyway, guys, you know what? Let's read about barberry. I'm just kind of curious. Barberry contains an alkaloid called berberine, which has been demonstrated to have antimicrobial and antiparasitic effects in some studies. However, it's important to note that its active compounds may interact with certain medications. So if you're on medication, that's a whole different thing. Talk to your practitioner. Okay. All right, guys. I guess that's about it. Okay, any last questions? I'm going to get going. Says, I have yet to be bored with any of your videos. Okay, well, I'm glad you're enjoying them. I mean, everything is just, I like to make things as basic and simple as possible because otherwise you're not going to do them where it gets too expensive. Things get crazy. And again, but is there any particular nutrient? Like we looked up antiparasitic properties. I looked up magnesium. I guess we could do here. Check this out. Top anti-aging foods. Everybody always likes that. Let's see. Now this is going to be interesting. Why? Check this out, guys. These are your top anti-aging foods. Blueberries. They go in my smoothie every day. Avocado goes in my salads every day. Rich leafy greens such as spinach and kale. Those go in my smoothie every day. Are you guys seeing a pattern yet? I mean, it's like I'm trying to get you guys to see this so that it will benefit you guys. Tomatoes. I don't eat a lot of tomatoes, but that's interesting that it's on there. Broccoli. I do like it. And actually, it's really anti-cancerous. My spirit says, oh my God, you are back in the US. So glad you are back near my time zone. It's only temporary, so I'm not going to stay in America forever right now. I've got nothing that I'll explain to you guys because I think I won't get into it. But there is something that I'm looking for. I've been looking for something for a long time, actually since I was a child. And I'm pretty confident, I'll say at least a 90% probability that I found it and have to gotta go get it, guys. It's the most important thing, in my opinion, at least in my life. I think it'll be important for everybody once they figure out what it is. But my spirit says, I've been doing the smoothie and hydrogen water. Thank you for your research and help the people all around the world. I tell so many people about you. Well, thank you. That's very kind. And I hope you're enjoying it. I've talked to some people who have literally, there's one guy, he writes books or articles or something. He's going to be writing an article because he says, I saved his life with my protocols. Apparently changed his life. And I'm telling you, it makes such a difference. And is it like the world's most perfect protocol? No, but it's the easiest one that you can live with. You try to do some of these protocols out there, they get like crazy expensive. Totally unreachable. Too many hours of the day. You got to give something to the people, for the people, that is achievable. So red peppers, look at that. Red peppers are anti-aging. Watermelon, ooh, I love me some watermelon. Pomegranate. I think you'll also notice that the anti-aging and anti-parasitic foods have certain kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Similarities, because pomegranate and papaya are on this top 10 list or whatever it is. And then let's see here. And then they talk about healthy fats. Look at that. Nuts goes right into nuts, seeds, walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds. I'll tell you, pumpkin seeds, guys, if you're not eating pumpkin seeds, I'm not going to say you're not smart. I'm just saying you're not informed, because here it is again. So it's anti-aging, anti-parasitic, rich in magnesium. I bet it's got all sorts of other properties too anyway, but I've known that they're really good for me, so I just eat them. That's how simple I keep it. I don't need to memorize every single thing. I just need to know what's good for me and then, keep it simple. Lentil beans, also anti-aging. Probiotics, that's cool. Dark chocolate again, look at that. Dark chocolate keeps coming up, and I put that cacao or the dark chocolate. You guys want to see what I'm consuming lately? I got this really interesting one. It was actually a gift, but from a guy who's like really big into chocolate. And there's this chocolate that's mixed with a type of, well, I'll just grab it for you guys. I don't know if the package is really what's in it though, but let me just grab it. Yeah, dark chocolate with a touch of chili. Guys, they put chili in with the chocolate. Oh, it's good. It's like indigenous. And just to me, I don't know. I think like the Aztecs probably did it like that. Leave it to South America to put chili in something like chocolate, and it goes so good together. It's like magic. I love it. So that's just one thing. Oh, green tea. That's a big one for the Japanese. And you guys know, not only did I put the cacao in my smoothie, I put the green matcha, green tea. Anti-parasitic, rich in antioxidants, and helps protect the skin from UV damage. That's a big one that I've noticed. I've noticed such a difference to the way my skin reacts to the sun, which is kind of bonkers. I know it's been anti-cancerous also, and appears to be anti-aging. You guys seen a pattern yet? Lentils, beans. Wow. And specifically, this is kind of interesting. Oh, certain bone broths, just because of the source of collagen. They won't put hydrogen on this list because they don't know about it, and they think they're pretty foods, but hydrogen is probably one of the number one things you can do for your collagen and your skin. Unbelievable. The Japanese are so into their skin. Apparently hydrogen is like huge for that. So if you want beautiful skin, I don't think I ever had the greatest skin, but it got way better when I improved my health. I'll tell you that much. I should have shown you guys my skin before. It was darn right embarrassing. Okay, anti-aging, overcoming nutritional deficiencies. Of course, deficiencies. Stay hydrated. There's another one. I'm really big on that. Clean water, hydrogen hydrates. So that's a really big one. Here's some noise. Limit your processed foods. Duh. That's our anti-aging suggestion. Limit processed foods. Okay. Well, all right, guys. Oh, they have specific foods for seniors for anti-aging. Yep. Back to nuts, seeds, berries, leafy greens, avocados, green tea, turmeric, dark chocolate. Yeah, all the stuff we already went down the list. So, all right, guys. I think I am going to say goodbye. Hope you guys found it helpful. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for the thumbs up. Good to see you guys. And yeah, if you have any, I don't think you guys have any last questions. I think I waited long enough for that. So I'll see you guys next time on the next one. All right, before I go, I'm going to show you one thing that I'm going to do here after I'm done with this. I'm going to take the chili chocolate. It's organic. This stuff, actually, let's see how it smells. I haven't smelled it. I only been drinking it. I put it in my cup. Ooh, that's a spicy chocolate. Wow. Let's look at the ingredients too. Organic cacao beans. Wow, they put the actual beans in there. They put organic cacao butter. I wonder if, can you make butter out of cacao? That's interesting. Cayenne peppers or some. I'm surprised that didn't come up actually for anti-parasitic properties. Chilies. I have a feeling they are. And then cinnamon. And yeah, so I put this stuff in, and then I actually will make coffee. Always organic. I make my own coffee. I don't buy it. You know, coffee is one of the top most sprayed crops there is. So they spray the crap out of this stuff. You want to get organic. And I like to mix it with the cacao, and I think it tastes pretty good. So I'll be doing that here probably after this. Make myself some coffee. Okay, I don't see any last questions, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time on the next one. Let's see, how do I turn this thing off?